Yep, 1 second, guys. Yeah, I'm sharing my screen to you guys. Are you able to see my screen, right? Guys, please respond. Are you able to see my screen, right? Hello.
Yeah, it is visible. Yeah.
Yep, thank you. Guys, so welcome to DurgaSoft. So, so this course is covering Docker, Kubernetes, and Jenkins. So it's something like a master program on Docker, Kubernetes with Jenkins. Myself, I'm Hari, guys. I'm a Hari Cheruko. I'm a DevOps consultant and solution architect with 12 plus years of industry experience as a real-time and trainer. So these are the few certifications I done from my end, guys. I'm a ITL certified engineer, and I'm a Red Hat certified system administrator, and I'm a Red Hat certified engineer, and I'm a AWS certified solution architect associate, and I'm a certified Kubernetes administrator, guys. Guys, understood? So this is my intro, guys. So what we are discussing in the Kubernetes, what are the prerequisites to learn Docker, Kubernetes, Jenkins? So there is no specific prerequisites required, guys. Perfect anyone interested. So in mastering containerization, orchestration, and CI/CD automation, no programming experience needed to get started. So suitable for graduates, undergraduates, and developer, backend developers, web developers, and QA automation everywhere, guys. Nowadays, so every in the real-time application, all the applications are deployed in the microservices. So you already know about that microservice and monolithic and microservices, right, guys? So monolithic is nothing but a legacy applications. All the legacy applications are deploying. The model is the monolithic, guys. Nowadays, all the applications are microservices applications. So microservice based. If it is a microservice based applications, so it involves the Docker and Kubernetes, guys. Okay, so how we can deploy frequently deploy agile once. So the before the legacy software development life cycle is a waterfall model in the SDLC. They are following, guys, and it will take 6 to 12 months to produce a software to produce the feature or something like a release. So right, but in the once the agile comes into the picture, the automation something like the process will be changed, the iterations comes into the picture, and so the softwares will be the modules will be divided into iterations, and every 15 days they will be produced a future or a software deployment. So for that purpose we need a CI/CD automation. So if you want to deploy application in something like a oftenly once or once a while, for example in yearly once, do we need to automate that process deployment? No need. But if you want to deploy regularly, something like in our environment, we are doing the daily deployments. So for that purpose, so whatever the repeatable tasks are there, that repeatable task will be automated. So for that purpose, we are using the CI/CD, Jenkins, and Argo CD, Argo CD CI/CD, Argo CD, GitLab CI/CD. Okay, we use that CI/CD to automate the deployment process. So guys, understood? Yes, right. So DevOps, what is DevOps? DevOps life cycle, SDLC, waterfall methodology, Agile methodology, right? So we'll discuss this in the while doing the CI/CD automation. So while doing the CI/CD automation, we'll tell you so that what is CI/CD, why CI/CD, we'll discuss it. Guys, understood? So what are the
Yes.
so now you understood the what are the prerequisites to learn this course, right? Docker Kubernetes with Jenkins. Right. So this is the program. So in this program, first we'll cover you the Docker. What is a Docker? What is a container? What is a Kubernetes? What is a Jenkins? So finally, we'll discuss the Jenkins, guys, because of once you know the Docker Kubernetes, right? So we'll integrate how we can integrate the Jenkins, how we can integrate the Docker Kubernetes, how we can deploy application, how we can do the, how we can create a job, how we can build a job, how we can deploy a job. We'll show it on the Jenkins, guys. Guys, understood? Yeah. So before coming to Docker, I already show you. You already know the content of the course, right, guys? You want to explain it again? The
Yeah,
content of the course.
it would be better to if you explain. Otherwise, I
Yeah.
will go through the details content. I haven't gone through the details of the course.
No. Yeah. 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 One second. I will to you.
Sir,
Mm,
how many days of course this is, and what is the time like? 8 to 10.
Yeah. 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 Yes. Yes. The course duration 30 days, 30 hours. Okay. So daily 1 hour on the timings. So is this preferable for you guys, or do you need to change the time? IST. Okay. So what we will cover in this course, we will cover first Docker, then K8s Kubernetes, then finally Jenkins, and we'll integrate the Jenkins Kubernetes Docker Kubernetes in the Jenkins, guys. So the course content, those are send it. I already sent it to the people. See, right?
Sir, are we doing the
Okay.
practice on AWS cloud, or do we need to install that Minikube for Kubernetes?
For a Kubernetes, I will show you EKS, Elastic Kubernetes Engine in AWS. Okay. So if you want, you guys can. I will give you the all the details. So this is my GitHub account, guys. Forgot to show you guys. Yeah, one second. GitHub.com. Yeah. So this is my account, guys. GitHub account. GitHub.com. Hare Krishna Cheruko 866 AWS material. So in this AWS material, I uploaded everything, guys, like Jenkins CI/CD, workshops, and Kubernetes. So right, so we'll show you how to install. Yeah. So this AWS EKS setup I will show you guys. So on the EKS setup, step by step, will show you how to set up the EKS. No worries, guys. Everything I will show you. So you already know the AWS, which cloud you know, guys. So if you want to install that KubeADM, that self-hosted, you guys can install it on took the EC2 instances, three EC2 instances, launch three EC2 instances, and you can run the self self-managed Kubernetes KubeADM also. Okay,
Okay.
guys. Linux complete. Send you the organization class check. Yeah, guys, got it. One second, I'm sharing with you. Yes, it is opening. 1 second. Yeah, meanwhile, we will open this. Yeah, so in the Docker, what we will cover. So Docker, containerization tool. So it is contain. Yeah. So Docker containerization tool. So what we will discuss in the Docker containerizations, what is Docker, life with without Docker, life with Docker, what is container, installing Docker on Linux. So Docker run command, working with images, container lifecycle, Docker file. Yeah, I have, right? I will show you that thing. Yeah. So we'll start the course content will start with Docker and Kubernetes and Jenkins, guys. So so setting up the development stack, what is the virtualization, what is the containerization? So what is the difference between a virtualization and a Docker? What is the containerization? So working on every system, what is Docker, Docker architecture, Docker terminology, so complete architecture, Docker commands, application development, so WhatsApp application development example will show you. So why they are going from containerization, virtualization, containerization, so Docker installation, Docker commands, Docker terminology, Docker commands, so Docker file, how to build the Docker images. We'll show you the keywords in the Docker file. So we'll show you the keywords. So all the keywords will show you. Okay, on the Docker file, how you can run the Docker file. Okay, how you can build the Docker file from the from the Docker file to, so Docker build the image from the Docker image to Docker container will run the Docker containers, Docker volumes, so types of Docker volumes, mount bound volumes. Okay, so we'll discuss these directory mounting to the Docker container. So real world application, something like a monolithic application and microservice application that compose, Docker compose. Okay. So in the Kubernetes, we'll show you the part. The Kubernetes is easy. Why Kubernetes came into the picture? What is the difference between Docker SAM and Docker Kubernetes? So why it is more popular? Who developed this one? Okay. So Kubernetes, Docker some versus Kubernetes, the Kubernetes futures, architecture. So what is a scheduler? What is a kubelet? The diagram explanation, the architecture of the Kubernetes. So the control plane, worker nodes, and the UI interface, open lens or kubectl. We can connect with the remote server through CLI. So how to communicate with the uh, that control plane to data plane. Okay, so we'll discuss about the complete architecture diagram. It will show you. So when you run the kubectl, it will connect to the API server. Then it will talk to the scheduler. So it will show it on the etcd. The controller will control this, and scheduler will schedule. So that the kubelet will connect with the API server and run the container. What is a pod? What is a container? So what is a kube proxy? Kubelet, Docker runtime engine. So we'll show you everything. So Kubernetes cluster setup, so we can So provider manager setup and the self-managed setup. In this course, we will show you the by EKS. So if you want to run a cluster setup, you can use the this. So Kubernetes Minikube. If you want to install Minikube, I will show you that one also, guys. So Kubernetes cluster architecture, self-managed, master and worker node, how to install Kubernetes. Okay. So is recommend to run the command in the master node or what we need to do. So I will show you self-managed KubeADM and that provider managed that EKS also I will show you. What is a pod life cycle, the cluster IP, is a EKS service example, service flow to commands, node port, what is node port, so what is the load balancer, ingress, pod life cycles, so replication controller, replication, and scale down, scale up, so manifest file, how to create the manifest files, so what is IPA version, kind, metadata, spec, so we'll show you that the service file, and the deployment file, replica set, replication, so equality based and set based selectors, real time, so replication control versus replica set, daemon set, here, so that ELK will show you the Elasticsearch log station Kibana, how it works. So we'll install that one also. So daemon, so the deployment strategies. So what are the deployment strategies? How it will be deploying, so recreating or rolling updates will update. So right, the strategy. So and the blue-green deployment models will show you the blue-green deployment model. What is blue-green deployment models? Okay. So and the ingress config map secrets and stateless applications, stateful applications, and Helm charts we'll discuss about. So Helm and the Prometheus is Grafana. We'll discuss about ELK. Okay, and fluent bit auto scaling and ingress. So we'll discuss this in the Kubernetes, guys. So EKS, how you can set up the EKS. Okay, so how you can set up the EKS by step. We'll show you how you can set up the EKS cluster. So ingress example. Okay, and we'll discuss about the GitLab CI a little bit. That Jenkins. Mostly we'll cover the Jenkins, guys. So Jenkins, how we can deploy application through the Kubernetes Docker application, that any application from the so Jenkins. So we can create a build job and how to deploy the application. We'll show you that Jenkins, guys. Guys, understood the course content?
Yes, Hari. So would it be like all practicals we will be perform or
Yeah. We will perform all practicals
okay.
only. You see something like right in the
Right.
GitHub also. I provided the deployment.yaml, load balancers, architecture. You see tomcat.yaml, my tomcat, pod, SVC, replication controller, simple pod, simple SVC, tomcat application. It's right. We'll show you practical. Everything will practical.
And after
Understood?
this, yeah, maybe there would be a project like on complete
Yes,
Jenkins
yes,
like
yes,
CI/CD.
yes, 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 yes. We'll show you the project, one project. Yes.
Okay.
Understood, right, guys? Yeah. So you already know the few architectures, right? Something like why Docker container, why container came into the picture. So before container, which environment they are using, right, guys? Initially, our application will be deployed on the which servers, guys? Physical servers, right? So your application will be deployed on only one physical server, and later a big innovative thought come into the picture, and so what is that, guys? A virtualization came into the picture. What is that? What is the
Virtual.
concept, guys? The concept is virtualization. So in the virtualization, right? So if you install the virtualization is the concept. So what is that? This is the a bare metal software. What this is, guys? Bare metal software. So bare metal software means okay. So it contains so virtualization. What is a virtualization? Virtualization is the bare metal software. So in the bare metal software, so we can, so if you want to connect with the hardware, definitely we need a OS, right? So for that, we need a OS. Which OS? For example, Linux is installed on that. So Linux OS is installed. On top of Linux, I want to utilize the resources. I want to utilize the resources, and we can install the number of OSs. That concept called as a virtual machines. The concept is called as a virtual machines. These are the VMs. So I need to create a software for this, right? I need to create that software is nothing but a VMware, or they created two types of softwares. So one is VMware. So VMware company created. So VMware company and Oracle company, they created the virtualization. So KVM kernel. So that Red Hat also created KVM kernel kernel virtualization. Okay, this VMware company created, and Oracle company created as a OVM, Oracle Virtual Machines, right? So you can install a bare metal software is nothing but a, so on top of that software we need a OS, and combining this OS and created called as a is called it as a bare metal software. A bare metal software is nothing but a, so we want to utilize these resources and create the VSM, right? For that purpose we need to install we need a software. That software is VMware. And so how we can interact with this hardware? Definitely there we need to interact with this hardware through Linux only. Okay, or OS only. So we need to combine their software and OS. That is nothing but a bare metal software. Okay, so here a huge 90% of reduced the cost from physical to virtualization. So here only one server. So based on these resources, here we need to install 10 servers. 10 servers. And so the drawbacks. So what are the drawbacks? So if you run the virtualization on your OS, guest OS, so what are the drawbacks? I will show you. So what are the drawbacks? Virtualization on top of host OS, you install the hypervisor, then you install the guest OS, and you run the install the binaries and libraries mean softwares. Then you can apply, you can run the application, right? Multiple OS in the same mission, easy maintenance and recovery, lower lower total cost of ownership, right? These are the advantages of the virtualization. What are the disadvantages? Multiple VMs lead to unstable the performance. It will be unstable the performance. Hypervisor are not as an efficient as a host OS. So long boot up process. These are the advantages of the virtualization, right? So the containerization. So the containerization advantage is nothing but you just install the OS. You just install the OS. Containers on the same OS kernel are lighter and smaller. Better resource utilization compared to the VMs and short boot up process. I will tell you this. So here, right? So here you just run one service called as a Docker service. Then you can run number of containers based on your resources. You can run number of containers. In virtualization also, so we can run the containers. We can run the containers. A container contains, I will tell you. Container contains. So exactly what to do. 1 second. Yeah. So virtualization. So virtualization is right. So installing multiple guest operating systems in one host operating system, hypervisor software will use it to achieve this. We need to install all the required software in guest operating system to run our application. Right, it is old technique to run applications. System performance will be slow in the process. So to overcome the problems of virtualization, we are going with the containerization concept. So what is a containerization, guys? What is that? Containerization. So it is used to package all the softwares and application code in one container execution. So what is that, guys? So what is that? It is used to package all the softwares and application. All the softwares and application code in one container. One container for execution. One container for execution. You guys understood what it is? So it is used to package all the softwares and application code in one container. For example, so this is your container. This is our container. So in this container, what you have? You have a OS. Okay. Then libraries means softwares like Java Tomcat. I need a software to install the application, right? Something like a Java Tomcat. Okay. And your application code. So application code packaged as a image and you can run on anywhere. So if you want to run it on Red Hat or CentOS or Ubuntu, Solaris, AX, whatever the Linux platforms, guys. So you can run it. You can run this application. They combined your OS, softwares, and applications. So for example, so if you want to deploy application in the environments, guys. So for example, a dev environment, QA environment, what is that? Dev environment, QA, and production, right? So here, first we need to install the OS, then we can install the softwares, then you can deploy the application. So for example, they are migrating the application versions on dev and QA, and production is the older version. So if you want to deploy this container, so if you want to deploy the application code, the application code works on dev and QA because of these are the latest version. So here the application is not working, the application is not working because of the that software dependencies, right? And so if you want to install all these Java Tomcat, first we need to buy the license for each and every environment, and we can install it, and we can do the OS patching. The maintenance will be very high. So if you run as a container, so if you create that image and we can run the container, so this container will run it on anywhere. Okay, we'll run it on anywhere. So this is the one of the advantage. Guys, your container contains a OS, softwares, and application code, and you can run it on anywhere. You can reusable. You can reusable this software. So container. Okay, I will show you that. Yeah. So this is our image, guys. So your image push to the Docker Hub account, and you can run it. You can pull it from so dev, QA, and the production environment anywhere. Okay, understood? Yes. Yeah. So what it is? So it is used to package the softwares and application code in one container for the execution. So what is the second point? So container will take care of everything which is required to run our application. Container will take care of everything which is which are required to run our application. Which are required to run our application, right? And and we can run the container in multiple missions easily. So we can run the container in multiple missions easily. We can run the container in multiple machines easily. Multiple missions easily. So Docker is a containerization software. What is that? Who will provide the software guys? The Docker. Docker will provide the containerization software. Okay. So who provides the VMware? That virtualization, VMware company and Oracle company, KVM, hypervisor, Windows. They are providing the virtualization some solutions. The same like as a who will provide that containerized solution? Docker. So Docker company created the containerization solution. The containerization solutions will created by the Docker, right? So Docker is it's a service. You can install it on anywhere. That service name call it as a systemctl start or something like a service call it a daemon call it as a Docker. This Docker service will run it on anywhere. So we'll run it on anywhere and we can create so we can run the containers on anywhere. We can run the containers on anywhere. Is understood? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So Docker is a containerization. So containerization software. Okay. And so using Docker, we will create container for our application. What is that? Using Docker. So we will create container. We'll create a container for our application. We'll create a container for our application, right? So the next, so using Docker, so we will create image for our application. What is that? Using Docker, so we will create image for our application. For our application. So next, so Docker image we can share easily to multiple machines. Docker images we can share easily to multiple machines. Multiple machines. Okay. So using Docker image, we can create Docker container and we can execute it. Using Docker image, so we can create Docker container and we can execute it. We can execute it. Yes, understood. So what is the conclusion? The conclusion is, so what is the conclusion, guys? So Docker is a containerization software. Docker will take care of so Docker is a containerization software. Docker will take care of the application and application dependencies for the execution. So application deployment into multiple environments will become easy if we use the Docker containers concept. Right, guys? So if we use the application, what is that? Docker is a containerization software and Docker will take care of application and application dependencies for execution. Application dependencies for execution. Okay. Application deployments into multiple environments. Environments will become easy if we use Docker containers. If we use Docker containers concept. Guys, understood? Guys, understood?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. So this is the way we are doing it. Yeah. So the regular classes will be starts from tomorrow. So tomorrow, how to install the Docker, how to run the containers, how to build the images. We'll show you from tomorrow. Okay.
Okay, okay. That's fine.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you, guys.